Welcome to SBTV Africa, and this is the Naked Truth Show. So today I have another one in the house, and today I have a beautiful, beautiful midwife with me here. If you go to her social media, hey, you go hear this. She's not one to joke with on social media. She's loud, she's vocal about everything. So I have her here today. We are going to dive in, talk about everything. Sex, relationship, mates, and everything. I have beautiful Ikia Dubai with me today. Let's welcome her. Ikia,
yeah,
welcome to my show.
Thank you so much.
It's been and I want to wait to your page. Hey, you can talk.
Hey.
I like the fact that you are so vocal about everything. Like, there's no topic untouched on your page. Your YouTube and everything. I loved every bit of it. Keep it up.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. But let's start.
Okay.
How was growing up for a queer like?
Well, I grew up in different places because my parents are actually pastors. Yeah, both of them. Retired pastors.
Okay.
And so, like, grew up in different places, but it was okay, you know, then loving home, going to different schools and all that. But it has been an interesting journey. Actually.
So you moved from one place to the other. Anytime they get transferred?
I also have to move with them.
Oh.
Yeah, so, or down different places, but then they retired at Kufuria.
Okay.
So I've been in Kufuria for a while now. Yeah.
Okay. So that means living friends and people behind all the time.
Every time.
Did that affect you in any way?
I actually liked traveling, so I actually enjoyed it. And because I was quite young then, I didn't really understand anything. Maybe I'll be there and they say they've transferred us, so then I'll just follow them. So it didn't really affect me per se.
What about your siblings? How was growing up with them like?
Okay, my siblings, they were quite older than me. Okay. So I wouldn't say we're very close, but you know, it's okay. Because they were very old and I was like small baby. So I didn't really stay with them for long because most of them left, they traveled, got married and all that stuff. So we are okay, we are cool. Yeah, let me put it that way.
So a midwife, huh? Is that who you've always wanted to be, being a midwife?
No. When I was young, I wanted to be an actress. Okay, like anything that has to do with like story writing, directing, you know, that kind of thing. That's what I really wanted to do. So I used to write stories when I was young. But when I was in SHS, I visited a friend's mother. She's a midwife. Okay. And that's when I fell in love with the job. I mean, she was so dedicated. The way like she handled the job, it just made me fall in love with it. I followed her to the ward, and like the way everybody is mentioning in the market, like I just like market. I want to be a midwife. I just want to be like you. So that's when I just developed this love for the job.
So you just treat the writing and everything that way?
Yeah.
You don't even visit it at all anymore?
No, I don't. Because when I went to school, nursing school, the pressure and everything, I really couldn't add it to it. And after school, I've never visited that part of me again. So now it's just the midwifery thing.
Do you have any regrets? Do you wish you could have done differently?
No. I'll still choose midwifery over and over again.
What's like one thing about being midwife that you like the most?
That's Mommy Chim, the baby comes and the baby is like crying. The joy you see on the mother's face, it's something else.
What about the pain they go through before the joy comes?
The pain, they go through it. I mean, it's normal to go through.
You don't cry when you see someone in so much pain?
No.
I once went to the ward. I cried.
What?
So there was this young girl. Okay. She was so young. I think it was 16, and she was pregnant. She was about to give birth, and the patient was gone. I cried.
Wow.
So why don't you cry? I mean is there a point to get used to it?
Crying. I mean, who is going to comfort the other? So I have to be strong for you and be pampering you, comforting you. So be fine, normal, you know, reassuring and all that. So even if I feel sad, I can't really show it to you like that. Otherwise, I'll end up making you more sad. So I have to be strong for you. Is that part of
you, just spreading the lady's legs out and cutting hair to push out? It doesn't do anything to you?
When I competed, one thing I was really scared of was that cutting, the episiotomy and the switching. I was a bit scared of it, but I got over it. So it's normal now. So I'm pursuing cutting. I mean, it's very interesting. The baby, you see the baby crying, and it just makes you happy that you've helped someone, you know. Yeah, so it's interesting.
But what's the most difficult part about being a midwife? Tell us what we don't know.
You see, during delivery, when the baby is not coming, okay, maybe the baby is stuck, or the baby comes and the baby is not crying, the baby is not breathing. Sometimes at that moment, I'm like, hey, who told me to become a midwife? What kind of wahala cry is this? I mean, you start praying, you start speaking in tongues in your head, baby, please cry. You know, that part is, you know, is very dreadful. Like, it's so scary when the baby comes and the baby is not crying, when the mother is bleeding. I mean, you're doing everything you were taught in school or everything you've learned since you came to the field. And the blood is still not, you know, she's still bleeding. At that moment, you become very scared. Sometimes, no matter how experienced you are, you still get that fear. Oh, God, what am I going to do? You know, that kind of thing. And to me, that's the most difficult part. Like, the woman is probably helpless and you don't know what to do, or you're doing everything you believe you have to do and it's still not working. That's usually the most difficult or the dreadful part for me in this job. Yeah.
I understand. But how long have you been doing this?
Okay, so 5 years now. I guess it was 5 years since I became a midwife. 5
years. Yeah. Has there been any peculiar experience you would want to share? One that you never forget since you became a midwife? One particular experience or two you could share with us?
Okay, so one story. This lady gave birth. I mean, the baby was very big. Let me put it that way. I was pulling the baby out and the baby was not coming. The head was out. I was trying to pull the rest of the body out and the baby was not coming, okay? And the woman's effort, like the woman was very tired, so she also couldn't like put much effort into it. And the person I went to work with, or my assistant, she was not a midwife. She was a nurse. So she didn't really have much experience at that site, and she was very new. So she was even scared. Like, I was like, no, you actually scared. You may even end up having to take care of you too. So go call me one experienced nurse to come and help me. And we were able to pull, it took two of us to actually pull the baby out. And the baby came and the baby was not crying.
Oh my God.
It was so weird. And it was around 1 a.m. So, and where I work, we don't have a doctor. Like, we didn't have a doctor. I think now we have one, but we didn't have a doctor then. Okay. So, if anything, you have to go to the bigger facility. And this baby was not crying. And I mean, it was quite serious. I mean, the kind of prayers I was saying in my head and all that. So this baby coughed. When the baby coughed, they were like, I shouted. I actually shouted more than the mother.
I can imagine. I was more
excited than the mother. I was like, hey, brother, I was so happy. And I don't know, today, that story or that picture of that baby taking that deep breath, that picture is still like, I close my eyes and I see that picture to date. I mean, it's been like, yeah. So that story, it's always been with me.
I'm glad the baby actually...
Yeah, the baby survived.
I'm sure you would have blamed yourself so much.
I would have, and you know, when you lose the baby or a mother, the kind of wahala you go through, documents you have to fill and all that stuff, it's not easy.
Have you ever lost the patient or a child, the mother?
No, I've never lost a mother. No.
But what about a child?
A child, okay, the child was already dead in the mother's womb.
Okay.
Yeah, before she
Is that what they call a stillborn?
Yeah, stillborn, yeah. Okay. So the baby was, it's something to in vitro, like the baby was already dead in the womb before you even came to labor.
Okay, so that's not one for you to feel bad about.
Well, you feel bad because the mother ends up feeling, especially the mother has gone through 9 months of pregnancy and then maybe a few weeks to, you know, the due date, and then due to certain reasons, the baby just dies in the womb. It's quite sad. Yeah, it's quite sad, but there isn't much the midwife you can really do about that. But
if you had the opportunity to change your field as a midwifery to any other, would you consider it?
No.
Oh, you do love this midwifery?
I love it. I love it. It's scary and interesting at the same time.
Does it pay? Yeah, with nurses.
Oh, you got some. I don't even let you finish.
But I said they're buying the cars and all that.
They're buying cars?
Oh, yes.
Hey.
I know the opportunities who are already driving their own cars and all that. So I thought, okay. So I was telling I was thinking, okay, let's all switch to this.
Introduce them to me. I want to know how to get the cars, because this salary there, to buy a car, unless maybe take a loan and then maybe they'll deduct it. Or these days, a lot of health workers have side jobs, like, you know, other things they're doing to, you know, help. Because if you decide to rely only on the salary and you have a family especially, it's very difficult for you. So most of them have side jobs.
What about you?
Currently, I don't have any side job.
Why? We don't want to pursue or you don't know what to do.
Okay, so when it comes to business per se, I don't really have that. Should I say the skills for business?
I get you. Yeah. I understand too. I understand.
And I'm also schooling now, so maybe when I'm done, maybe I'll think of something along that line.
So back to your page, you are so vocal about everything. But on the next thing, why do nurses always get married so quickly after school?
I don't know.
Is there any teacher in school that as soon as you finish a year to 8, you get married, you have to settle down?
Okay, probably maybe they were dating before, you know.
But you haven't realized the nurses usually get married?
Oh, every weekend nurses are getting married. Yes, I get to. Actually, he was dating this guy back in school, and asked when he wanted to marry a nurse. That was his focus. Like that was his dream, to marry a nurse. So she said, "Mao no more dating."
Nurses.
Even when we were dating, he was actually dating other nurses alongside.
Is that a fetish thing for him?
I don't know. And he's actually now married to a nurse.
Oh, dreams do come true, don't they?
That's for him. Yeah. If it didn't come true, and because like,
so some men actually make up their mind that
actually love nurses. I don't really know why. Some also hate it because of the night shifts and stuff like that. But most of them love.
I didn't know people have that obsessive behavior towards.
Some do. Some do. Some do. I heard one reason being that, you know, almost the nurses are caring. That's what they said. I don't know how true that is.
So let's go to clearing up misconceptions, since you do a lot on your page.
Okay.
I've come across, even today, I saw you post one about clearing up misconceptions about if you have that's having sex with too many guys. That's what we posted, posted today, so I'm starting with that one.
Okay.
You said, let me clear this up. Sleeping with too many men doesn't widen your vagina.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that?
Yeah, you see, in Ghana here, because this is where I come from, a lot of people have that misconception that if a lady has a loose vagina, it means she's promiscuous or she's been sleeping around.
Oh, she's that one.
Everybody in the area, like that's the tag.
It's true.
You know, but then it's so not true. The penis can't loosen or widen the vagina, you know, permanently. Let me put it that way. You see, the vagina is something like an elastic something, okay? You know, like a rubber tie. You see, you can pull it, and then it comes back to how it was when you leave it. Like, it bounces back. That's exactly how the vagina is. You see, the vagina, a lot of people think your vagina is what you just do this and you see it. But the vagina is actually inside. It's not like anything you can just look at it and look. It's inside us. Okay. And it's elastic, okay? Meaning it can pull, you know, it can stretch, but it bounces back. So you having a lot of sex, it doesn't, you know, permanently loosen the vagina. The muscles are strong. So it's not that small penis that is going to do wonders and make the vagina loose. Okay, so it's never true. It's been a conception, it's been a myth there for so many years, but there's no truth to that story.
How long does it take for it to bounce back? Does it really bounce back to a normal stage, or does it take a period of time?
During sex, okay, when, you know, there's foreplay, there is that sexual excitement, the vagina relaxes, the muscles will relax, and then it will stretch a bit to receive the penis. Once you're done with the sex, once the excitement is gone, it bounces back to how it was.
Does it?
Yes.
Always?
Every time. It bounces back. Okay. But then there are certain things that can make you lose that elastic property of the vagina.
Let us know, like what?
Like childbirth. Okay, it's childbirth that usually has a little bit of permanent impact on the vagina, because, you know, a baby is coming out of the vagina. Okay, so it has to stretch. Sometimes stretch like over 200 times, you know, the normal, you know, size. It has to stretch for the baby to come. Okay. And when the baby, some people today have very traumatic deliveries. The baby was stuck there. They had to, you know, they had to cut and all that. So usually it take about a few weeks to 6 months for it to like come back to how it was before you got pregnant or before you gave birth, you delivered. But even with that, it really doesn't come back to how it was exactly. Some women may feel a little bit different. The sensation may be a little bit different for some women when, you know, after delivery, okay? And then another reason why you may actually lose that, you know, tightness is aging. Okay. Once you are aging, okay, it also brings about that issue, because there's a hormone called estrogen. It's this estrogen that help women to get wet and all that down there. So when you are aging, all these hormones also reduces this. Their work begins to, like, you know, drop. So it will make the place a little bit dry. It makes the muscles a bit weak, so it may feel a bit loose. Okay. So it's these two things that really like has a very big impact on the vagina. But then one thing also is, you see, with the penis, we have sizes. We have the big ones, like the puna ones, and then we have the little ones. It's just the same with the vagina. No two vaginas are the same. Even our vaginas is different. Some are very wide, naturally.
Naturally?
Yes.
So sometimes you meet a girl, and it's not because she's had too many sex, that's why she has a bigger...
That's how it is. And there are some women, they've had sex several times, but it's still tight. So you may think this girl is a good girl because her vagina is tight. But just say, why you be? Okay, so you can't just judge a woman by her vagina and say it's loose, so she's promiscuous.
You know, back to you saying childbirth can change a bit.
Yeah.
You know, I've heard a lot of people say that having sex with someone who's giving birth and someone who hasn't, it's a lot of difference in the pussy. Like, I've heard a lot of people say that, oh, this lady has given birth before, but her pussy doesn't taste like someone who has given birth.
We have women who are giving birth to like 10 children, but her vagina is very tight. I actually conducted one delivery. As soon as you see, when the baby comes, you have to sort of put your hands inside to clear some of the blood clots and stuff. As soon as the baby came and the placenta also came, I couldn't even fit my hand inside there. The place was tight.
Wow.
Yes, like Minsana and Co. I had to like, Mommy, sorry, why we didn't patch out, because it was very tight. And so I was like, hey, just today, like barely 30 minutes after delivery, the place has, you know, like is strong or tight again. So there are some women after 10 deliveries, the place is still tight for her. And there are some, even after just one delivery, the place loses like that sensation a little bit. And you see, anything elastic, with time, it begins to lose that thing. Like naturally, even if you've not given birth before, naturally, as time goes on, you begin to lose it a little bit. It doesn't mean you're promiscuous.
Okay, so is it true a pussy takes the shape of the dick you fuck?
One thing is it accommodates it, okay? But assuming your vagina is the type that is a bit loose and the penis coming is small, you know, obviously there'll be a little bit, you know, like you don't really feel it very much because like the penis is small and the vagina is naturally wide. So the sensation may not really be there because you feel so like, I said, why you lose kakrabisa. But then if the penis, the vagina naturally loosen up to receive the penis. So if the penis is very big, it's loosening up to accommodate it. But then that's one reason why you shouldn't be so happy that you have a very tight vagina. Because if it's...
Why shouldn't I be happy?
If it's too tight, okay, if you know, the vagina is the type that is too tight, it doesn't even stretch, you're not going to feel very comfortable during the sexual intercourse because it's not able to stretch. So the thing is paining you. So at the end of the day, your vagina is tight, all right, but you're not even enjoying the sex.
So the dick doesn't really matter? Like, the dick size, doesn't matter? Like, tell these people, does dick size really matter when it comes to real sexual intercourse?
I believe that when it comes to sexual intercourse, the whole thing is about the man. If your dick is small, don't blame the woman. That your vagina is too loose. So don't tell them. Because the making it so bad. I mean, you have a small penis. When we talk about it, they say you step on your ego and I can say a man's penis is small. That thing is small. Don't blame the woman, say, or you lose.
It's your dick, right?
It's your dick.
Tell them.
It's big. I've not heard any guy with a big dick saying, when I have sex, they will be.
Never.
So those complaining, they should actually check themselves. Check on the zip and check the episode and stop blaming the lady, making them, you know, insert all sorts of things to try and tighten the place up. And at the end of the day, they're rather, you know, coming up with infections and worsening the case and all that. So inserting these things there, these medical things, these things we see people selling. I want to try and remember some of the names, like a lot on the market. The herbal ones, the pharmaceutical ones. Does it really help in tightening the pussy? If it does, what are the long-term effects? There are lots of long-term effects. You see, these things are made up of chemicals. Okay. So some of these chemicals may not really, you know, can affect your pH, like the normal environment in your vagina. There are good bacteria, there are bad bacteria in our vagina. Okay, the good ones mostly are called the lactobacillus. They protect your vagina from these infections. So when you start insecting all sorts of things into your vagina, at the end of the day, you may actually end up interacting with the normal environment of your vagina. Then the good bacteria may take over, and then you come up with all these infections. You come up with yeast infections, all these, or you're having this offensive, discharges coming out of your vagina, and you have to be spending money going to hospitals because of this. But the guy who is going to leave you on channel. And
these guys are not loyal.
No, you are dying for them, you are killing yourself for them, but they will still leave you because now you have infections. Okay. And actually, one senior midwife told me she knew a lady who went to buy these concoctions, inserted all these things to become tight. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, the place actually ended up, sort of like a battery, like, she couldn't open the vagina. No. She had to be taken to the theater for a surgery to be able to like open the place up for her. And some women, if they tell you so, maybe take one pill, but for 5. So probably I don't know if she went by the prescription or maybe whatever. Then the place ended up, closing up or became so tight she couldn't even put her hand there, her finger there. So she had to be taken to the theater. Look at all this. I mean, it's not necessary. Okay, it's not that it's going to have a lot of effects on.
Are there natural ways or an exercise, any form of medication, anything to help when you have your pussy loses?
One very good exercise is Kegel exercise.
Yeah, we've heard a lot about it. Yes. How is it done? Can you show
us? With Kegel exercise, you can do it sitting, you can do it lying down. You see, when you're going somewhere and you want to you really feel like urinating, but it's like you're holding on to the urine.
Yes.
That kind of you sort of contracts your pelvis sort of. That's how the Kegel exercise is done. Not when you feel like urinating. No, that one you're going to have problem. Just normal, like you are sitting down, maybe you are lying down. You sort of contract your pelvis. The pelvis muscles for like maybe 5 seconds to 10 seconds. You hold on to it, and then you release yourself. Like you breathe in. And then you do it again maybe 3 times, in a set. And then you can do it like 4 or 5 times during the day. Okay. It's very good. It helps you to, sort of have a bit control over your muscles. Okay. And I even hear some ladies even do that while they're having sex. While the penis is inside.
Oh, show us the way.
Yeah, like while the penis is inside, they contract their pelvis like that. And from what I heard, it's magic for the men.
Really?
Yeah, I say
so they grab it inside.
Sort of, yeah. And I hear it's crazy.
Is there a special position that you can do that?
The lady can just be lying down. The guy.
So there's no special.
There's no special.
You can do it in every position.
In every position. The most important, you the lady know how to control, like tighten your muscles during that time. Yeah, so it's a very good exercise that can really help. Then another thing is if you feel that you are too loose, maybe with yours maybe it's very bad or you don't really feel okay, it's giving problems, you can do a surgery.
Oh, there's a surgery?
Vaginoplasty. Yeah,
tell them about it.
Yeah, so vaginoplasty is like a surgery. Yeah, it's called rejuvenative surgery or something like that. Like it's sort of, they do a surgery to sort of help you to tighten the place up a little bit.
And they do it in Ghana here?
Oh, yes, one doctor told me that they do it here. But I really don't know the hospitals. Probably the teaching hospitals, I can't confirm, but I know it's done here. Yeah, so maybe after delivery, you've lost the sensation too much with you, like you just can't feel anything again down there. Your husband is like, but you can go in for that surgery to sort of tighten the place up for you again. So that surgery is also available. But in most cases, it's a natural thing. Just do the exercise and, just take care of yourself so that you don't get, this infection that makes the place, so wet and stuff like that.
Talking about infections, you have the whites and all that. How do we take care of it?
Okay, so it depends on how you got it. Okay. When you talk about infection, you're talking about STIs or the
normal? We have STIs and the normal. Let's talk about the normal infections first that ladies have. Like I've come to realize people have whites. They don't even know this is white. This is what is causing me smell bad down there. So advise us.
Naturally, every woman, you're supposed to be a bit wet. Okay. Naturally, when you remove your pants or when you put your hands down there, you're supposed to feel some, fluid coming out. If you don't have that, then there's a problem. It's supposed to be wet, but then it has a quantity, but you can't really give the quantity to everyone. Everyone has hair quantity. but then it should be very little, and then it should be colorless, okay, like water, or a little bit whitish in color.
But that's the question.
Smell.
When you talk about white, what first thing that comes to mind? Okay, when I see my pussy, I'm supposed to say white substance.
No, not white. I mean like
so
water,
white is not
clear,
white. So
like
white that we talk about, someone has white or white.
Because
it's not white.
The discharge that comes, the discharge comes in different colors.
Okay.
I don't know why they call it all white.
White, exactly.
Because of that, when every lady sees even a small fluid down there,
whitish.
White. Okay, some of the natural discharge that comes out is whitish, a bit whitish in color.
Okay.
Okay, but then it's not. It doesn't have any smell. It's odorless. Let me put it that way.
Okay.
But the one thing is the vagina itself also has a little bit odor. Okay. There is this. It's not very pleasant.
So
it's not like
vagina is not perfumery. Like you're not supposed to.
No.
Okay.
See, ladies put all these perfume things down there. No, the vagina is supposed to smell like sunflower or some flowers.
Okay.
No, that's not how it's supposed to smell. It has its own smell, which is not very pleasant. It's not like but
is your time that you say bomb?
I say a bomb, but I want a sense or the buy. A bond, they're not just a problem.
No, so there's it's supposed to smell.
I can want a sense.
Okay,
but a bond there was some.
It's a fish.
But, yes, and a fish, and I just say, is this vaginitis, bacterial vaginitis. Okay. But as a grown, just try and get familiar with one kind of sense. Or for some say me trying to sense.
So if I'm sitting down like this and there's another, I should know there's a problem.
Yes, because you know the normal sense. So whenever there's a change, when inside the sense where the change can
but you know, say people grow up having the sense that they don't know smells bad. Like today, growing up, my pussy smells this way. I don't know that pussy odor. But I grow up and people tell me this pussy odor, how does it come like that? How do you distinguish between a normal pussy scent and a pussy odor?
The thing is, my normal pussy scent may not be your normal pussy scent. So you can't tell me, say, my normal pussy scent this smell like Jenny, so you're also supposed to smell like Jenny. Okay? But as I said, once you're a teenager, growing, and that's why you see it's very good to let our teenagers know all these things. Once growing up, get familiar with the kind of scent that comes. Are they born when you feel idea where they're born? Your nose tells you this thing smell
but me, when I was growing up, that's the scent I know.
I born.
Yes.
No. Are they born? You should know it's idea where they're born. You get me?
Yeah.
If something is smelling bad, obviously you feel this thing there smells bad. But as I said, the scent in our vagina, it usually changes during the whole month. When you're ovulating, the smell changes. When you're menstruating, the smell changes. When you're not ovulating or menstruating, the scent is also different. When you're menstruating, it smells a little bit like something metallic. It's because of the blood. So a lot of ladies too, they end up with these smells because they don't know how to take very good care of themselves down there. During their menstrual period, they don't really take care any time. Or then it's when I not being home with any time. So by the time she's done menstruating, that sentinel, so then she would gradually start developing this bad smell there because she didn't really take good care of herself down there. Okay, and sometimes when a lady feels in Kankakra, we are shy going to the hospital. A very culture doctor said, Doctor, I feel there's a little bit change in the smell.
So there are medications that could help get rid of the scent.
It usually the scent comes because of an infection. Okay, if you feel that fishy, odor, it's an infection.
So go to the hospital.
Go to the hospital.
Okay.
If there are different smells and then there are different infections attached to it, the discharges that come, some is like some is so like very yellow. Some also looks like milk. Say I would say to me
yes.
Some actually comes out like that. It comes in clumps. So we have different types, but or you have to go to the hospital. I wouldn't advise you to go to the pharmacy to go and buy it, right? Because you don't know the actual bacteria causing the problem. So you go to the hospital rather than buying things outside. You use it down there, and at the end of the day, you're actually even worsening the case for you.
But if my boyfriend is fucking me, okay, and I'm creaming out and it's whitish and all that, do I have an infection or it's coming out cramps like you just mentioned?
If there's no smell, if you're not feeling any itchy down there, there are no sores, there are no bumps, it's normal. Some women, I would say, are lucky enough to ejaculate. Okay. We call it squirting.
Is it the squirt?
Squirting.
Squirting, yeah.
Some women, I would say, are lucky to
squirt?
Yeah. So they have that whitish discharge coming out. Some also is clear white and comes a lot. A friend of mine actually told me, said she feels embarrassed because she feels it's urine. coming out.
No, it's not urine.
She thought it was urine, and so she thought there was a problem with her or something.
Okay.
Yeah. So if the discharge coming is not smelling, you don't feel any itchy, something down there. You don't feel any pain during sex, and there's some whitish, discharge coming during sex. It's normal. Okay, but even if after the sex you are there, you've not done anything, and there's a lot of discharge coming out, that one they probably have to go to the hospital to know why. Even if you're not having sex, you're not, you're still having that discharge coming out.
Does too much fingering, give you infection, or does fingering even gives you a lady an infection?
Okay, so probably if the guy's fingernails, usually one midwife actually said before fingering, wash your hands, and then we were all laughing that you were in the mood. If it doesn't happen. So probably the guy came from the from town. He opened the door. He held money. He did this. As soon as he got there, you just remove your partner, then it's a shower. Whatever infections or whatever bacteria that are around his hands, he's introducing all down there for you. Okay, so fingering, if the hands is contaminated, obviously it's going to introduce these infections down there. And our vagina is very fragile. It's very delicate. So if you introduce these things down there, then it makes the good bacteria's job very difficult for them. So they usually say if you want to finger somebody, wash your hands first. But I don't know how applicable that is.
But does fingering actually affect the size of the vagina in any way? Does it widen the pussy in any way?
The couldn't do it. Then the hand there.
Nothing at all.
Nothing at all.
Okay.
I mean, ladies are using this sex toys and all that, and it's still the vagina is okay.
So we are still on the infections. Okay. Let's talk about STIs. Okay, we know a lot about STIs, but this is what I wanted to clear up for us.
Okay.
Why do men always blame ladies for STIs? When a guy has gonorrhea, the first thing, oh, she infected me with it.
You see, that blaming thing it's been there since Adam and Eve.
Okay.
You see, when God asked Adam and Eve, Adam decided to blame Eve. So men, they started blaming us, that long time ago. They are always blaming us.
Okay.
And then one thing is that, you see, when it comes to STIs, women have to be more careful. Because as a woman, you can get an STI, and the signs and symptoms may not present early enough.
Okay.
So you may not even know that you have gonorrhea.
Okay.
Some also have some whitish discharge for a few days, and it just goes away. So she feels it's something normal. Then she's just living her life. But then it's the gonorrhea. It goes to hide there quietly. So you have unprotected sex with a guy. With a guy, within 1 to 3 days, they begin to show symptoms. They have painful urination and all that stuff. So then, I say, we infection. Okay, yeah. And it can also be say guy no call baby or no name say call baby na waba. Or by you want blaming game, or person the best show and all that stuff. So STI they will be to the man in yanko, but usually ladies are more affected with STIs. Because we are the receiving end.
Okay. Is it advisable I tell my partner that I have an STI?
Is advisable.
What if I tell him and he leaves me?
Lucky enough, aside HIV/AIDS, almost all these STIs can be treated. So if you don't tell your partner about the fact that you have an STI, and you have unprotected, during the time you are treating yours, if you're able to abstain from sex, then fine. But maybe the time you are treating yourself, you also want it. You don't use condom. The treatment will not work. Okay, because at the end of the day, you're going to infect him with it. And then when he has it, he is going to infect you again. Because now both of you are having it, so you are sharing it between each other.
Probably, if I'm not sure, okay, I think we have multiple sexual partners.
Okay.
I'm not sure who gave this infection to me. Why would I go and say I have infection?
Okay, then the best thing is get treated, but abstain from sex during that period. If the treatment is 7 days, abstain for 7 days.
So if I get treated for that 7 days,
then you go and then get tested again. If you're negative, then you can go ahead.
But I didn't tell these people that I have infection.
So now the problem is you didn't tell any of them. Probably you go and sleep with them again, right?
Exactly.
So you're going to get it again. And now you are having sex with like maybe 5 guys. Now you don't even know which one.
Exactly. So why would I go tell them?
And if you don't tell them, you go to them again.
And I'll get it.
And you get it again. And then you'll be just reinfecting yourself, and it can actually even affect your fertility one day. So it's good to let them know. You cry and you say that I don't even know where I got it from, and you just act innocent and all that.
Okay, so another misconception I wanted to clear up is you hear guys saying, oh, if I pull out, okay, you are not going to get pregnant.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. That that thing has been there. Oh, when you pull out, you don't get pregnant.
Yes.
I actually met a guy and a girlfriend at the original hospital for the year. The guy was so sure that the pregnancy was not his.
Okay.
Why? Hey, me, I did withdrawal. Me pull it. So the babies are not mine. Okay? Like the baby is not mine. Like he was insisting on it that the lady cheated because he pulled out.
Okay.
I actually have a friend who also did the same. He also pulled out. The lady got pregnant with twins. I said that he's a master in withdrawal, like, you know, this technique with withdrawal. So he's been doing it for years. So there's no way this pregnancy is his. The lady gave birth to twins. The father's photocopy. Like there was, he wanted to do DNA. As soon as he saw these two boys, he was like,
okay,
DNA, no, don't do it again. And I've been laughing at him till today. So you see, when you are doing this, you know, withdrawal thing, sometimes you see when a man is, you know, when a man gets erected, there is this, you know, fluid that sort of like, you know, surrounds the penis.
Yes,
like it lubricates the tip of the penis. It's not very common, but sometimes some of this fluid could contain sperm.
Okay.
So if you're not lucky, and then the fluid is containing, and then the things you don't know that it is containing sperm or it's not containing, because you just can't see the sperm with your naked eyes. So if it contains the sperm, then obviously you pulled out all right, but then, you know, a little bit, you know, entered before you pulled out. And some also actually pull out and then they release on, you know, the vulva, like the head part there. If you pull there, the lady was probably maybe, oh no, I saw sorry, or she put her hands around that place. If a little bit even touches the vaginal opening, it could swim inside there. So if you want to pull out, yes. So if you want to pull out like far away from this private part. Can crash up between her thighs like this, and it can, you know, get inside or with the woman like this, something like this. It can enter there. Wow. So withdrawal is not 100%, you know, safe. You can still get pregnant.
Then let's talk about just like, oh, let me fuck you under the shower. You're not going to get pregnant.